Thank you very much for the opportunity to make a presentation here. I will explain some development of the regulatory change in Japan, repeated again after the PMDA Dr. Hirata, the day before yesterday. And first of all, I will explain about our company. Our company established over 15 years ago, and at that time, two guys started the business. One is Mr. Kimura, who is a business person, and the other is Professor Egawa, who used to work in the Institution of Medical Science of University of Tokyo. And both of gentlemen like to save the life of the cancer patient. They like to use the immunocell therapy, which Bob explained, and various people explain the immunotherapy. And we will start with alpha-beta T-cell therapy. It's quite conventional, old-fashioned, but there are lots of experiences in the world. So therefore, we started with that kind of the technology, then moved to the dendritic cell therapies. Over the 15 years ago, dendritic cell therapy is much, say, fashionable among the researchers. But there is a limited experiences in the market. Therefore, they started alpha-beta T-cell therapy. After that, we expanded a lot. But first of all, I have to explain the two types of the therapy. One is a dendritic cell here, and the second is alpha-beta T-cell. And Medinet take a part of the cell processing. All the regulatory framework to provide this kind of services to the patient. At that time, over 15 years ago, of course, we can move to the marketing approval process to get to have the application, to make an application to the PMDA. But we use the autologous cells, and at that time, we felt the autologous cell therapy, it is quite difficult for us to get a marketing approval. The regulation is focused on the drug and the medical devices at that time. So living cells, autologous cells, has a very different nature of those the drug and the devices. Therefore, we move to the different way. We use this kind of technology with the medical practitioners law as one of the part of the medical services. And at that time, self-culturing should be done by the medical doctor, but they have a limited experiences to do that. Therefore, Medinet helped them to make cell processing. And we established a facility within the clinics. And within the clinics, we provide staff and the supplies and the machines and also the clean rooms. So then we can provide. But all the cell processing is under the responsibility of medical doctors there. But we feel it is not realistic. It is a realistic way, but it is not an ideal situation to make this kind of services, because this is not this kind of treatment cannot get any reimbursement in Japanese market. Therefore, we like to change the regulations. We have been insisting to the government, please change the regulation which will fit to the nature of the immunocell therapy or regenerative medicine or autologous cell or biological cell-based medicinal product like that. Then this is our business model. We give the services to the clinics or hospitals within the building of that. Then we will get royalties. If we culture one batches, then we will get the reward payment from the royalty from the medical clinics or hospitals. That is a current business model. Then we spent 15 years. This is our accumulated experiences. The number of patients which we involve is more than 70,000 patients. And also the number of cell culturing we spent is more than 137,000 cell culturing we did over the 15 years. But it is a quite small amount, unfortunately. If we have the reimbursement, it becomes much bigger, but unfortunately it is not. And this is a new regulation which will be in effect in coming November or December. And there is two types of the new act. You may know or you may not know. But one is an act on the safety of regenerative medicine, which is much more for the medical practice side. And the right-hand side is an Act on Pharmaceutical and Medical Device Act, which is, as you may know, expedited approval or conditional approval, we may say. And these two tracks will be established, and both tracks will be regulated. In the past, I explained previously our current business model. There is no specific rules, so we felt it is not a good idea to keep it as it is. At the moment, a number of clinical hospitals which gives us a medical treatment with immunocell therapy for the cancer patient in Japan. There are over 600 clinics or hospitals. The 600 clinics has no specific regulations. So they made some people has a high quality services, some people gives a very low. So there is no specific rule about the cell processing. So it is not good thing for all of the patients. So therefore we insisted to establish a new act. This is the result which Japanese government worked very hard to establish a new one. And with these two new acts, we can make two types of the businesses. Left-hand side is a cell processing business. In the past, there is no contract manufacturers in Japan because the cell culturing should be done by medical institutions. Hospital or clinic has to do it. So it is quite difficult to make a contract manufacturing business. So therefore, I will explain later on, Medinet will take a step to be a contract manufacturer in future after the new act will be in effect in the market. And this is just repeated. You may know about that. But in the case of new act of the regenerative medicine, in the center of that, you can see the regenerative medicine therapy provider. For example, SETA Clinic Group. The group is a hospital group, clinic group, which our long-time close partner to make immunocell therapy to cancer patient. And the clinic group has to get some approval or submit the plan of the treatment providing a plan to the Ministry of Health. And also Medinet will play we have to get authorized process cell product manufacturer status we have to. So we submit the applications and getting permission from the PMDA. Then we can play as a contract manufacturer for the medical practice side. And this is a risk classification. This is a regenerative medicine should be classified to 3 types. You may hear from Dr. Hirata about that. And there are 3 types. One is a high-risk type, and the second is a medium, third is a low risk. I will not touch in detail about that, just skip it. Then the different type of the regulation will be applied to the class 1, class 2, class 3. And the high-risk type is heavily controlled by the government. And the lowest one is just controlled by the IRB type of the committee will control it. And also the self-processing facility should be controlled 2 ways. One is the medical institution, hospital, or clinic can keep their current facility, and at the same time, corporate can make new facilities or outside of the medical institutions, we can establish it. In that case, we have to get approval. But medical institutions don't need any getting approval, but submit the application to the authorities. And this is rules. It's complicated. And one is clinics and hospitals. They have to follow the detailed rules. And also they have to issue the providing, say, services to the ministry. And this is a typical approval process. In the top, you can see the involvement of the committees, and also the Ministry of Health, and also the Committee for the Health Science Council. They will give the opinions, and this is a very highly controlled. It's, one of the examples is the iPS cell, which is if medical institution would like to make an actual medical practice at the hospital or clinic, they have to get those kinds of steps. And the lowest risk one, class 3, is just a very much smaller certified committee for regenerative medicine. This can be established by each hospital or each clinics. They can establish it. But member of the committee member has a certain level of the criteria. Then if they can get approval from the committee, then the hospital or clinic can provide the services. But in the area is quite simple and not complicated, rather lower technology as medical services. And another one is, of course, the adverse effect should be reported to the ministry. And also the periodical reporting should be done to the ministry. Ministry would like to, I believe, they would like to control, or they would like to get the data in the market. At this moment, right now, no data, no report has been done. Therefore, it is quite difficult for the Ministry of Health how many clinics provide immunocell therapy, for example. They have no ideas. Sometimes they raise a hand, hey, Minette, do you have any idea about that? Then we answer questions. Maybe we check with every website of the clinics and the hospital. They show we provide immunocell therapy to the cancer patient. So we checked every site. Then we find out 600. Yes. And also the new rules will be established for the self-processing provider. It may be called a contract manufacturer, but not for the corporate, directly for the hospitals. And we have to keep the certain level of GMP facilities, and also GMP quality management we have to do. But it's not exactly the same with GMP, a little bit different, but similar. And this is another act, the PMD Act. You have already know a lot. And this is not the targeted to the autologous cells. Most of the autologous cells can be used, this kind of systems, but it's not restricted. Maybe allogenic, but after the bone marrow transplantations, allogenic, and 1-to-1 type of the treatment. That kind of thing may apply this new system. And the problem of this is at this moment, reimbursement for this approval, we are now discussing. I'm working for the Forum for Innovative Regenerative Medicine, which is a similar entity with ARM or AAT in Japan, and as an industrial group, and we try to negotiate, or we push hard to the government to apply the reimbursement to the expedited approval system, approved product. Because if we have no reimbursement, market cannot be opened. And also the Japanese government insisted we dedicate, in a sense, to the regenerative medicine for the healthcare area. They would like to promote it. But if there is no reimbursement, who can survive? That is a big problem for us. Therefore, we continue to insist to the government, please think about it. But the problem of the government everywhere in the world, budget for the medical or healthcare is very limited. So there must be a big argument or discussion should be done. But we will try. And schedule. In May, we have already get a public consultation for the PMD Act. We are waiting for the public comment, plan for the new rules for the regenerative medicine. We are still waiting. Government, Ministry of Health are working very hard, but here, there are rumors. PMD Act has a much more things to do to involve the local, the offices of the Ministry of Health. So it takes a long time. Therefore, they started with the PMD Act, then moved to the Regenerative Medicine Act later. But anyway, the enforcement of the two acts will be happen on December, end of December, or end of November or early December. Then there must be a transition period. The 6 months for the facilities, 12 months for the clinics in the area of regenerative medicine. And then Medinet will change the business model. We have only at the moment, the cell processing services contract with the medical institutions. But after the new act, we will divide into two pieces. One is a contracted cell manufacturing business for the medical institutions, like hospitals and clinics. At the same time, we are happy to work for the companies or corporates. And the other side, on the medicinal product business side, Medinet has involved the R&D activities to develop the new technology for immunocell therapy for cancer. So we have the idea to be a developer of the new products. So, but two types of the business is that there might be some conflict. Therefore, we change some, say, organization chart, organization into the two pieces. I will explain later. But anyway, this is a contract cell manufacturing business chart. We made in it are happy to serve to the both side, both acts. And so contract cell manufacturing business, we took actions. We started the construction work for the new cell processing facilities. The total floor area at the moment is linearly 3,000 square meters. And at this moment, we have one of the biggest cell processing facility in Shin Yokohama area. This new site is 7 times of that. And we try to establish 2 types of facility within one site. One is for the PMD Act to get the marketing approval, say GMP facilities. And the other is GTP facility or GMP facility like for the medical institutions. And the construction work will finish by the end of this year or early next year. Then we try to start new services to the medical institution and corporates. And in order to get, say, demand from the market, we involve the new the companies, joint venture, which is related to the company called Histogenics in Massachusetts. The original technology comes from the Japanese the researcher in Harvard University, Brigham and Women's Hospitals. And the guy like to expand or coming back to Japan. So therefore we involved. And we involved a little bit, and then we invested to the joint venture. But our role is a contract manufacturer for them to get the marketing approval. We will establish a clinical trial product. And this is our pipeline for the cell medicinal products development. We involved the clinical studies with the university hospital a lot, and we pick up from them the best one or better one. We will pick up from them as a candidate. I cannot tell you in detail. And action for the product development. One is that we separate that kind of business into the subsidiaries. It is called MedCell. That is one thing. Second thing is, you have already know, the day before yesterday, Mike Leake explained the new project in Scotland. The company called TC Biopharm. They will make clinical trials in Scotland in very near future. We expect they are our front lines to make a business in Europe or outside Japan. This is the last slide. The medical services and marketing approval, both sides, we like to involve, but segregate the information. Otherwise, people feel uncomfortable if we try to play as a contract manufacturer. So therefore, we segregate or we control the information about that. But anyway, we are quite happy to give you the opportunities if you think about the development or expand your business in Japan. We are quite happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think you shared with us some really nice thinking behind the new Japanese changes, and I think many of us were amazed by the numbers of patients that you've treated in the last, 15 plus years. So
Indirectly.
Indirectly, yeah.
If directly, it is prohibited.
And I think we didn't necessarily understand that the clinicians own the data as well, so that was also very useful. Yes. I'm afraid we've run out of time. I'm going to go to coffee, but I'm sure a lot of people would like to chat to you over coffee. So could we thank Mr. Suzuki once again for a fantastic talk.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.